old footage revealing that, yes, her secret plan is to always take control of the movies and lie to the directors to get it. Where Blake Lively completely exposes herself and just says it out loud with no qualms. This is what I do.
I'm very surprised that she felt comfortable enough to say all of this out loud. And I don't feel like it's taking things out of context. I don't feel like it's manipulating her to look a certain way. This is her talking. This is her interview where she is being honored.
Just when you thought the Marvel saga had hit its peak, boom! Robert Downey Jr. just lit the fuse on a Hollywood explosion no one saw coming. And the target? None other than Blake Lively. Yeah, you heard that right. The Iron Man himself is pointing fingers at Hollywood's Golden Girl, accusing her of something absolutely insane: stealing money from Marvel Studios. How did this even happen? And why is an Avenger coming after someone who's never even been in a Marvel movie? The layers of this scandal are unraveling fast. Secrets, betrayal, and a truth so wild, it's about to flip the entire industry upside down.
And it's as vicious as it can get. In Hollywood, my own position is she's absolutely ruined her brand. She has started a fight she cannot win. She does appear like an Amber Heard to me.
Hollywood and the Marvel fandom are in complete shock. And trust me, this is just the beginning. This isn't just some internet gossip. Robert Downey Jr. is allegedly holding on to evidence that could shake Marvel Studios to its core. Fans are scrambling for answers, social media is in flames, and no one knows what's real or just another Hollywood illusion? Is this the biggest scandal in Marvel history? Or is there more to the story? Buckle up, because the truth is about to hit hard. Reports are swirling and the whispers are getting louder. Marvel's money didn't just vanish into thin air. A massive chunk of cash is unaccounted for, and Robert Downey Jr. is convinced he knows exactly who's behind it. Blake Lively at the center of a Marvel financial scandal? Sounds almost impossible, right? She's always had that polished, picture-perfect Hollywood image, never a hint of controversy. But now?
I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. So I think that for them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull, because you're like, you're trying to assert yourself into something that we didn't hire you to do.
The cracks are starting to show, and the tension is sky high. People are taking sides, demanding answers, and the internet is in absolute chaos. This isn't just another Hollywood rumor. If Robert's accusations hold any weight, this could be one of the biggest celebrity bombshells of the year. The stakes are sky high. And trust? That's about to be shattered in the most brutal way possible. This drama is far from over, and Blake Lively, she just might have backed herself into a corner she can't escape. And she doesn't even seem to realize what she's exposing.
I don't think she even realizes what she's admitting. Sometimes they'd let me and sometimes they wouldn't. And that then she goes further and says, I would just lie to them in the audition process and make them think I'm just an actress to do what they want. And then I'd slither my way in and take anatomy because I need authorship.
Like I want to have more authorship. It's just as
I just can't even, there's so much to say about this clip.
And Blake Lively is out here openly admitting to sabotaging actors, hijacking projects, and lying to directors, all while keeping that squeaky clean Hollywood image. But now, the mask is slipping. And Justin Baldoni isn't just calling her out, he's bringing receipts. For years, co-stars, Penn Badgley included, tried to raise red flags, but nobody was listening. The pattern is undeniable. Blake has been making sets unbearable, pulling strings behind the scenes and manipulating her way to the top. And Justin? He's been warning people for months, but Hollywood wasn't ready to hear it. She took over It Ends With Us, rewrote scenes behind his back, and pushed him out of his own project like he was nothing more than an extra. And why? Because she knew exactly how to play the game. She spun the narrative, made it seem like she was just a fearless woman fighting industry norms, and Hollywood ate it up. Producers welcomed her with open arms. The industry backed her like she was leading some kind of movement. But it wasn't about empowerment, it was about control. And she had it, until she didn't. Then, out of nowhere, a 2022 interview resurfaced. And just like that, the illusion shattered. In this clip, she wasn't just hinting at her behind-the-scenes tactics, She was flat out bragging. She straight up admitted to deceiving directors and producers, making them believe she was just another actress. But now, that act is falling apart fast. She plays the role flawlessly, smiling, nodding, sitting through meetings like she's just another actress ready to say her lines and go home. But the second that contract is locked in, that's when the real Blake Lively steps in. Suddenly, she's not just acting, she's rewriting scripts, shifting character arcs, and deciding how entire scenes should be shot. And she does it all under the excuse of needing authorship to feel creatively fulfilled. But let's be real. This isn't some innocent creative input. This is strategy. This is calculated. Blake admitted she knew she had to play the game, keeping her real intentions under wraps until she had full control. Because let's face it, if directors knew from the jump that she was planning to hijack the project, she'd never get hired. So what does she do? She plays innocent. She tricks filmmakers into thinking she's just another actress, until it's too late to stop her. And the wildest part? She knows exactly what she's doing. She even called it a rug pull, as if deceiving directors and taking over their films was just some clever little trick. And she didn't say this with regret. No, she laughed it off like it was her signature move. This isn't how Hollywood works. This isn't how professionals operate. Blake wasn't collaborating with directors. She was straight up stealing their projects out from under them. This interview could not have resurfaced at a worse time for Blake Lively. For months, Justin Baldoni was brushed off as just another so-called fragile male director who couldn't handle a woman with a voice. But now, the truth is out, and the receipts speak for themselves. This was never about ego. It wasn't about control. It was about the fact that Blake did to Justin exactly what she had openly admitted to doing to other directors before him. She played the game, waited for the right moment, and then boom, she yanked the project right out from under him. And when he dared to push back, she flipped the entire narrative, turning herself into the victim and making him look like the villain. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't miscommunication. Blake believed she had every right to seize control. In her mind, she wasn't overstepping. She was simply taking what she thought she was owed. And for years, she got away with it. With her industry connections, her A-list status, and her talent for manipulating public perception, she kept the narrative exactly where she wanted it, until now. This time, there was no PR spin, no carefully crafted damage control that could erase what she said herself. No twisting the facts, no rewriting history. Her own words finally caught up with her, and for the first time, Hollywood had to stop and actually question the story she'd been selling all along. Because this time, she admitted everything, on camera. And now, the facade is crumbling. Blake Lively isn't just a Hollywood darling, she's a manipulator who thought she could play the system and win. Let's not forget, Justin Baldoni had been begging people to listen. He tried to warn the industry. He spoke out about how Blake hijacked It Ends With Us, rewrote scenes behind his back, and pushed him out of the very project he built from the ground up. But the second she reframed the situation as a man versus woman battle, Hollywood blindly took her side. No questions asked. No one stopped to wonder why the director and producer, the person who secured the rights and developed the entire film, was suddenly the villain. Blake had crafted the perfect smokescreen, and for a while, it worked. But then the truth came crashing in. Andy Signore, Yuri, and Kim from Popcorn Planet wasted no time breaking this story wide open. And the deeper they dug, the clearer it became. Blake didn't just get accused of taking over Baldoni's film, she practically admitted to it herself. And this isn't just about one movie. Blake Lively has a history of twisting projects to fit her own agenda. The receipts are stacking up, and this time, there's nowhere left to hide. Some directors played along just to avoid conflict, but others, they were completely blindsided. They hired an actress, not a co-director, not a producer, not a studio executive. No one expected to wake up and suddenly find Blake Lively running the show. But that's exactly what happened. And the worst part? She admitted she lies to directors on purpose to gain control. That's not artistic passion. That's not dedication. That's deception. And honestly, this goes way beyond unprofessional. Imagine if Justin Baldoni had gotten his hands on this clip earlier. Imagine if this interview had surfaced before she took over It Ends With Us. He might have been able to stop this mess before it even started. This damning footage comes straight from Blake's 2022 Forbes Power Women's Summit appearance, where she sat there, proud as ever, bragging about how she tricks directors into hiring her, only to seize control of their projects once she's in. At this point, she's not just admitting to manipulating directors, she's justifying it. She truly believes she deserves control over every film she works on. Because apparently, simply being an actress just isn't enough for her. She doesn't just want a role, she wants total control. That's exactly why she hijacked It Ends With Us. That's why she rewrote scenes behind Justin Baldoni's back. That's why she erased his influence from his own film. Because in her mind, she earned it. But here's the problem. Blake, you got caught. You did exactly what Justin accused you of. And this time, there's no spinning your way out of it. The internet never forgets. And now, you're facing the consequences. No PR stunt, no powerful connections, no industry favoritism can erase the fact that you admitted on camera to doing exactly what you've been called out for. Hollywood is watching, and for the first time, they're seeing the truth. This isn't just about It Ends With Us. This is about a pattern of deception, control, and ruthless ambition, all disguised as female empowerment. For years, Blake Lively carefully built an image of herself as Hollywood's fearless, independent woman, the one who challenges authority, takes control, and refuses to be silenced. But now, people are asking, what happens when that control is really just manipulation? What happens when the so-called fearless woman isn't fighting injustice, but creating it? Blake Lively isn't just an actress, she's a master strategist. She knows exactly how to frame herself as untouchable. She plays the underdog, the outsider, the woman fighting to be heard. And because Hollywood loves a strong female narrative, they buy it every single time. But behind the scenes, the truth is a whole different story. Justin Baldoni isn't the first person she's done this to. He's just the first to call her out publicly with actual receipts. And that's why she's scrambling. That's why she's desperately rewriting the story, trying to flip the script before people realize what's really been happening this whole time. Let's be real. Justin didn't just randomly lose creative control of It Ends With Us. That kind of power shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens piece by piece, when someone carefully manipulates the system to push someone else out. Blake started small, just a few script suggestions here, a creative opinion there. It seemed harmless, at first. But before Justin even realized what was happening, she had completely taken over. And when he finally pushed back, it was already too late. She had positioned herself as the face of the film, and anyone who dared to challenge her was instantly painted as the villain. And the worst part? It worked for months. The media ate up the idea that Justin Baldoni was just another insecure male director who couldn't handle working with a strong woman. But here's the problem. That's not what happened. Justin didn't lose control of his own project because he felt threatened by Blake Lively's involvement. He lost control because Blake made sure he did. She knew exactly how to play the game. She understood that if she framed this as a woman fighting for creative freedom against an oppressive man, the industry would rally behind her without a second thought. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. But what Blake didn't account for was the truth finally catching up to her. While she was busy pushing Justin out of his own project, a 2022 interview resurfaced. An interview where she openly admitted that this is exactly what she does. She didn't even try to downplay it. She bragged about it. She spoke with pride, as if stealing creative control was just another genius career move. In the interview, she straight up explained that she never reveals her real intentions when auditioning. She knows that if directors and producers had any clue she planned to rewrite scripts, control costumes, and dictate the entire direction of the film, they wouldn't hire her. So what does she do? She lies. She pretends to be just another actress, playing along until she's locked into the contract. And then, she takes over. And now? Everything Justin Baldoni said makes sense. Blake wasn't just involved in the creative process, she was orchestrating a takeover. She played the system like a chessboard, moving each piece exactly where she needed it until she was the one calling all the shots. And once she had full control, she did what she always does, positioned herself as the hero and painted anyone who challenged her as the villain. It's a strategy that's worked time and time again. But this time, she underestimated just how much evidence was stacked against her. Because now, it's not just Justin Baldoni speaking out. Hollywood insiders, past directors, former co-stars. One by one, people are coming forward, sharing their own stories, and proving that this wasn't some one-time situation. This was a pattern. And the timing couldn't be worse for Blake. Just as the truth about It Ends With Us started surfacing, old clips, interviews, and behind-the-scenes accounts began to resurface too. People who had worked with her in the past started revealing that they had been manipulated the same way. And suddenly, that fearless woman standing up for herself? She didn't look so fearless anymore. She looked calculated. She wasn't just challenging Hollywood's outdated norms, she was weaponizing them to get what she wanted. And that's what makes this situation so much worse. It's not just about lying. It's about twisting the truth so that real victims become harder to believe. It's about exploiting the strong female narrative, not to fight injustice, but to silence anyone who dared to speak out against her. Justin Baldoni wasn't trying to silence a woman. He was trying to protect the creative vision of a project he built from the ground up. But Blake knew that if she spun the story just right, she could turn the entire industry against him before he even had the chance to defend himself. But this time, the internet is watching, and the internet doesn't forget. Every deleted text, every altered script, every backstage power move, it's all coming to the surface. And the harder Blake Lively tries to rewrite history, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just a misunderstanding. This is manipulation on another level. She thought she could outsmart everyone. She thought she could control the narrative. But now, the real story is coming out. And for the first time, she's not the one pulling the strings. Hollywood might have backed her before, but now, they're realizing they might have backed the wrong person. Because at the end of the day, the truth always wins. And right now, the truth is exposing Blake Lively for exactly who she is. Her entire Hollywood game is crumbling, and she has no one to blame but herself. She thought she could play the system, silence those she steamrolled, and rewrite history to fit her version of events. But now, her lies are catching up to her. And the truth is spreading faster than she can spin it. For years, she built up this image, the strong, independent actress who fights for creative control and refuses to be silenced. But here's the question. What happens when that control was never about artistic vision, but manipulation? What happens when the person she was fighting against wasn't some Hollywood executive holding her back, but someone she betrayed to get ahead? Justin Baldoni had been warning people for months, but no one wanted to listen. No one wanted to believe that Blake Lively, Hollywood's golden girl, could actually be capable of what he was saying. But now, the evidence is piling up, and people are finally starting to see the truth. And the reality? It's worse than anyone ever imagined. Blake Lively didn't just contribute to It Ends With Us, she stole it. She wormed her way in, taking over a project Justin Baldoni had been building for years. And little by little, she took control. It started small, a few script changes here and there. Then came demands, control over casting, costumes, direction, until suddenly, Justin was completely pushed out of his own movie. And the second she spun it as a strong woman fighting against a man trying to silence her, Hollywood took her side, no questions asked. No one even stopped to ask if that was what was actually happening. And that's what makes this entire situation so infuriating. She played the system perfectly, using the industry's obsession with empowerment to cover up what she was really doing. Because let's be real, she never wanted to just act in "It Ends With Us." She wanted to own it. She wanted it to be her movie, her story, her vision. And when Justin refused to step aside, she did what she always does, flipped the script, painted herself as the victim, and let the media do the rest. But now, her house of cards is collapsing. That 2022 interview is still haunting her. The one where she openly admitted that she tricks directors into hiring her, pretending she's just an actress, only to seize control the second the contract is signed. And here's the kicker. This wasn't an exaggeration. This wasn't taken out of context. This was a full-blown confession. Blake Lively straight up admitted to manipulating filmmakers, lying in auditions, rewriting scenes without permission, and tricking directors into thinking she's just there to act. And the craziest part? She said it with pride. She's not just an actress, she's waiting for the perfect moment to hijack someone else's vision and make it her own. This wasn't a slip-up. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was Blake Lively admitting, in her own words, that this is exactly what she does. And now, everything Justin Baldoni accused her of makes perfect sense. For months, people dismissed Justin's claims, writing them off as just another male director feeling threatened by a strong woman. But now, it's clear that was never the truth. This was never about gender. This was about Blake hijacking his film, erasing his influence, and using his hard work to paint herself as some creative genius. And the craziest part? Justin isn't the only one she's done this to. The public is waking up. Hollywood is finally realizing they may have been backing the wrong person all along. And Blake? She's scrambling. Because for the first time in her career, she's losing control of the narrative. Justin isn't backing down. Hollywood insiders are speaking up. More people are coming forward with their own experiences. And no matter how hard she tries, Blake can't erase what's already out there. The truth is out, and this time, there's no hiding from it. Let us know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next bombshell update.